Hello, my name is Jill, and today I am inviting you along as we look at my dream project, my new media tools and text dream project, which is my cookie unit. I'm a baking teacher in a high school family and consumer science program, and the topic that I chose for my project was the baking unit. It's not just a lesson, it's the entire unit. That was the focus of my project, was to update it and bring it into this century, and out of all the worksheets and things that I had been recycling year after year after year. So that's what it was like before. That's how I'm going to describe to you that the way the unit worked before I redid it for this dream project was there were lessons, there was a PowerPoint. I would explain all the different types of cookies again to the students, and we would talk about how you knew when a cookie was done and those types of things. But it was mostly me presenting information to the students, and they didn't have a chance to use the information or interact with the information very much at all. The only time they were really interacting with the unit was when they were creating the recipes in the lab, which is a huge part of the curriculum, but I really wanted them to have more time with the lesson information as well. So I put this all on the website that I've been working on for quite some time now, and I'm just going to show you my cookie unit. It starts with a home page for cookies. What was the best cookie you've ever had? And this is, yeah. And then there is a Kahoot to help them to review what they remember from when they took the introductory course before this. It's a prerequisite, so they do the Kahoot, which we can do as a class, or they can take it by themselves with the review feature. And then I have an introduction to everything that they're going to experience and learn, and links to each of the pages. Each of these is a link to a lesson or a lab. So we're going to go to our first cookie lesson, cookie texture. I taught this last week, and I think it went a lot better than just the PowerPoint that I've used in the past. And I think the students got more from it and were able to actually use the information, not just receive it. So I redid the PowerPoint in the form of a Prezi, which the students use to gain the information. They go through the Prezi and look through the information and then do this fun quizzes game to check to see if they actually absorb the information. And then once they have checked for understanding, then they go on to using their knowledge. I've given them a recipe, and they are going to change it from a chewy chocolate chip cookie to a crunchy chocolate chip cookie using the information that they learned from the first activity, from the Prezi. And they fill out the Google form with 3 changes they will make to the recipe and their reasoning for those changes, so that I can identify whether they are actually thinking clearly about the information or not. There's another lesson for cookie leavening. And I did tell the students as I was introducing this unit that I tried to use multiple apps and ways of introducing information, not the same one from every, lesson to lesson. With this one, there are 2 articles that I have used in the past that I thought had a little more information they needed and were written in an adult frame of mind rather than a teenage frame of mind, and there are differences. So I rewrote them to reduce the cognitive load for the students, to focus on the most necessary information, and to also make the graphics make more sense for the students. So I have one article of cookie science: why cream, the butter, and sugar. Why do you have to bother to do that? It's about aerating them. There are places within the article for them to answer questions. So it's sort of a hyperdoc. And then the second one, it's about baking soda and this creaming together. the air rating of the butter and sugar work together to make a cookie rise. So there's 2 articles, and at the end of the second article, they are going to answer a question in Google Classroom: how does creaming butter and sugar work with baking soda to make your cookies rise? Because they should gather that information through reading these articles. The third lesson is an attempt to help the students figure out how to narrow down some of the information you find online to the best, most useful information. So I've given them articles, and they're going to read the articles, and across these 4 articles, which are very similar, they're going to find at least 4 tips or tricks that will make their cookies better that they see across all 4. And then they're going to create their own article with those tips or tricks. And cookie experiments, this uses Edpuzzle. These are videos that I had created last spring. 2 experiments that I did at home in my kitchen because we were, it was during the pandemic, and I put them into Edpuzzle and added some questions so that I can assess the understanding that the students have. All of my lab pages look very similar. We have Irish oat cookies. They all start with a lab objective, a lab goal, some expectations, information to help the students be more successful. For this one, it's a drop cookie, so I've given them some suggestions for shaping their cookies and why we need them all to be the same size. If you don't have a cookie scoop, which not everyone has at home, then this is another method you can use. I always try to do that at the beginning of a lab so that I can give them some tips for success, a better chance of success. And then I have a link here to the recipe. Then a reminder to reflect on the recipe and submit a picture, which they have to do in Google Classroom, and a bonus activity. There's a bonus activity at the bottom of each and every one of the labs. So I'm not going to go through every single one of these, but the red velvet cheesecake cookie lab, as you'll see, it starts the same way. And then I made I took pictures of the steps they should go through for shaping their cookie with the filling on the inside, so that they bake properly. I used my kids' Play-Doh and slime for the demo pictures. Again, we have the recipe, and I put everything in the same order so the students don't have to look for everything, and they can immediately scroll down the page, find what they need, and not have to spend a lot of time searching for it. And then a bonus question: why is red velvet red? There is a scientific reason for it. It's not just red food coloring. There's a next level brownies lab, and here I showed them how to prepare your pan with a pro, or like a pro, and I used a video. I didn't show them, I used a video to show them. So I have all of those, and at the end, the thing I think I am the most proud of is the cumulative activity. So in the past, it was just a list of possible issues that you could have with cookies. I told them to go do some Google searches and come up with ways to fix the problem, and it was way too wide open. So I've made this much more specific, and I've connected it to all of the lessons. So the challenge is to answer the letters, kind of letter to the editor kind of format. You must answer the letters with a solution and an explanation of why your proposed solution will fix the problem. You will be graded on the accuracy of your proposed solution and your explanation. So here is letter number 1, and then room for their response. I tried to make them interesting to read as well. Letter number 2. This one's written from burnt cookies, and there's 4 letters altogether, and they connect to the lessons that they had in this unit or the labs. And I like that I gave them an option as well. If writing isn't their strength, they can record an audio message or a video reply and answer each of the letters in that way. So that gives everyone, and some information at the bottom to help them be more successful in figuring out how to do that. So I really like how this cumulative assignment ended up. This is kind of their quiz at the end of the unit.